Welcome to Core Narrative, the entertainment podcast where we dig right down into the core of movies, comics, games, and anime. I'm Nathan Hawthorne, and today I'm here with my brother Noah. And today we're going to talk about My Hero Academia and what exactly it means to be a hero. Now, this hero question is something that we're going to be probably spreading across quite a few episodes, not necessarily in order, but that we'll be looking at quite a bit because it's something which is so important to storytelling nowadays. So, without further ado, let's jump in. Okay, so when we're talking about heroes in terms of My Hero Academia, where it's a world where heroes are the standard, there's literally thousands if not millions of them worldwide, it's a really interesting thing. And of course we have these two main characters. We have Bakugou and Midoriya, Deku, and they have two very different versions of what a hero is, isn't it?
Midoriya is in it to save people and to save as many lives as he can. Well, Bakugou is there to win.
No, but at the same time, he's there to save as many people as you can. He looks up to All Might as well, don't forget. So he still wants to save people. His attitude and personality are just different.
I would say, you see, Deku's main objective is to save people. And that means that strength, or being the strongest, is second, that he needs it to do his job. I think Bakugou's main intention is to be the strongest. And saving people is the secondary, so it comes with being the strongest. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So they're both doing the same thing, but the intentions and why they're doing it is different.
But are they different?
Yeah, because you heard why Deku wants to be the strongest. You see that every single time he as a kid when he watched it, he was like, I want to be able to protect people, I want to be able to do this, like All Might. However, when you saw Bakugou as a kid, and even now, he always saw All Might as being the one who could stand up after battle, the one which never got defeated. That was why he wanted to be like All Might. But
then why didn't he join the villains then?
Why didn't he join the villains?
He wants to be a hero. He wants to save people, and we know he doesn't care. He doesn't care about the fame and stuff like that, or about having the fan clubs, because you see how rude he is to people in general. The people that he saves is even rude to, but he makes sure that they get saved. So,
but it's still not his number one goal. I don't think is to save people. I still think that's his number two goal. But his number two goal is to defeat the villains, which is why, like for example, in the film, he said, "You guys go save the." He knows what he's good at. Yeah. He knows that his powers are better suited to fighting. So,
but to me, it just comes across that he wants to protect people. He knows that that's the goal of a hero, and he wants to be a hero. He wants to protect people, but he knows that, like you said, he's good at taking out villains. He enjoys taking out the villains. That's part of what he admires about All Might, the fact that he can take out villains. And he knows that the knock-on effect of him taking out villains is that everybody gets saved.
Yeah.
And I think that...
So I think, as I said for Bakugou, it goes, taking out villains, which he can only do because if he gets stronger, which means that he can save more people. But with Midoriya, it's protecting people, but I have to do this. I can only protect people if I get stronger, so that I can be a hero. I think that their priorities are still not the same. Bakugou's priority is to get stronger and to win.
Yeah.
Midoriya's priority is to save the people. That's why he's willing to blow up his whole arm all the time, just to save one person.
Yeah.
Bakugou, remember when in the exams, he saw the people in danger, and he was like, "Yeah, not worth my time," because he knew they were safe. But he's not about the help and rescue life. He's more about the defeating the villain. That's what his aim. That's what his aim is, and that's what all he enjoys. So he doesn't really care. he doesn't care as much for it.
Okay, he doesn't care as much for it, but he does care about it.
He does care about it.
So he was aware that they were going to be fine, so he left them be.
Yeah.
And
But he still failed because
yeah, true. But to me, this sort of brings it back to who they're looking up to. Okay, so they're both looking up to All Might, but Bakugo's personality is supposed to be, well, in my opinion, it's a little bit more comparable to Endeavour's.
That's what they did in manga. Because I don't know if you want to...
No spoilers. No spoilers for the manga, just for the anime. Okay?
Okay. Because what I'm going to say is that they're compared. All Might compares his attitude to Endeavour because that's because both of them want to win. It's like Endeavour's determination to become the best hero, to become better than me, is the same as your determination to become the strongest hero and number one hero as well.
True, but then to me, their core values are still the same. Their core values is still, we're heroes, we protect people, we save the day, we take out the villains. All right.
Their core values might be the same, but they don't express it the same.
Yeah, exactly. So they're heroes in their own right. Because just think of Endeavour, all right? In the most recent episodes that we saw towards the end of the last season, we see him go and we see him fighting all out as the new number one against that really strong Nomu, right? And this whole time he's sort of been painted as this sort of villain hero who's nobody likes and so on. But we see there he's got his own fan base, people that accept him for who he is and accept the way that he does stuff. They still look up to him because of the way he does stuff. Not just that, but he, throughout the entire fight, he prioritized protecting the city, protecting the people, while also trying to be a symbol for people to look up to. Because he knew that All Might wasn't there. He knew that he had to fill that role too. So before he was like, All Might's filling that role, so it's fine, I can carry on doing it in this start. But now that he sees that the role needs to be filled so that people do have a hero to look up to, he's filling that role. So to me, it's more of a sort of flexible thing. If there's a gap to be filled, they will step up and take it. And I think Bakugo will be the same and would be the same. If people needed, and I think we sort of saw this with the kids, isn't it? If people needed a heroic figure to be a certain way, he would act to fit that role.
And you see it, and you're going to see it in the seasons to come. When, for example, when they had the exam with Bakugou and Midoriya versus All Might. Yeah. He wanted to do it all by himself, but he knows that he couldn't win without Midoriya's help. He couldn't succeed. So, as I said, his main objective is to win. So, if his only way to become the top hero is to help people, is to become a symbol like All Might, he will become it.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. It also becomes a bit messier because we see his character growing as well. So you do see him softening and becoming a bit more.
It's hard to explain when. Yeah, it's kind of hard where I can't tell spoilers from the manga because there's a lot of character development and there's a lot of more inside him and Deku's dynamic, which shows some more of his aims and how he feels about everything, like the hero life, and even you saw it in when him and Todoroki was doing their little the provisional license.
Oh, like, yeah.
With the kid. A bit. Where he can be shown as a role model, which the top hero is meant to be.
It's still a strange thing, though, when you think about it overall, because Stain made a good point, and it's one of the main threads running throughout the entire series. Should heroes be these people that are funded, that are paid for, and stuff like that, where they're basically celebrities which earn a paycheck for what they do, and they're ranked in the way that they are? And personally, I think it is a very weird system. Of course, we're used to growing up with heroes with secret identities. All right, that's how all the heroes were before, because that was the whole thing. They're selfless. They sacrifice themselves to go forward and do stuff. Whereas now it's a bit different, because you're getting people who are going in like Uraraka, they're going in just for the money. Yeah, they might be good people, but their prime objective is money.
Yeah.
Or you get people who just want status, or like what's the guy with the who runs?
Oh.
Ida.
Yeah.
Ingenium, or wherever he goes by these days. He's doing it just because it's sort of a family thing that's passed down. My brother's a hero, my dad's a hero, I'll be a hero too. So there's a certain there's a certain lack of
genuinity.
Genuinity is not even a word. Genuineness, authenticity. That's it. There's a lack of authenticity to what they're doing, and it is a bit strange because when it comes down to it, in my opinion, a society like that, rather than having people like that, it should be that your police force has an elite section in it where it's people that are trained to use their powers for specific situations, or trained to use their powers in that manner. So all these heroes would really be is uniformed police people who are there to protect the people.
Yeah. It'd be just a task force.
Yeah, a task force. Yeah, because if they had a uniformed force, which you didn't really, just like our police officers, where we know we have police officers, and you might know a few police officers, but you don't know the name of every police officer. You don't know that that's the police officer that did this and that did that. There's police officers. If they were like that, then you'd have a true batch of heroes.
Yeah.
Because then you'd have people who are putting their life on the line fighting these really dangerous people, but no one actually knows who they are.
Yeah. Isn't it like, I don't want to dip into another anime.
Mm-hmm. No, go on.
But isn't it like Fire Force?
Mm-hmm.
Where the Fire Force is just firefighters which take out the Infernals. Because the firefighters do exist in the world. They just take out normal fires, but the Fire Force go out to go destroy the Infernals.
Yeah, that's true. And once again, what they're doing is pretty dangerous. And I think there's a lot to be said about heroes whose identities you don't know, who try to avoid the limelight. Because if you think of Batman, tries to completely avoid the limelight. For ages, people thought he wasn't even real.
I would say people like that in My Hero Academia are people like their teacher, Eraserhead, because barely anyone knows who he is. Like on TV, they're like, "Who's this again?" Because he's a low-key hero which just does his stuff and probably believes he doesn't really care for the fame.
Mm-hmm. But that leads to that weird disparity, isn't it? That we mentioned before, where you got too many people going in for too many different reasons. Mm-hmm. I mean, when it comes down to it, people always have different reasons for getting into whatever line of work that they do. Yeah. But we're using the term hero, which is a very specific term. It refers to someone that is selfless, someone that. In fact, let's have a look at the definition. Let me just grab my phone and just have a look at the official definition of a hero. So, a hero, according to the dictionary, is a person who is admired for their courage, outstanding achievements, or noble qualities. Okay? Now, when you think about it and compare that to the heroes that we see in the show, yes, we see people that are admired for their courage and outstanding achievements, but we don't see people that are admired for their noble qualities.
Yeah.
And I think that's the bit that that's lost a lot.
I think because when you think about it, can you be a hero without being admired?
Yes.
Like Aizawa, the teacher. No one knows who he is, so he could never be the number one hero. Because even though you're doing the work, no one can stand by you because they don't know who you are. But then you have other people like Uraraka, who is just in it, who's courageous but not really has any noble aspirations.
She's there for the money.
Yeah.
So when it comes down to it, I think that heroes in My Academia, Stain is right. They're not heroes. A lot of them, probably the majority, are not heroes. They are basically superpower celebrities who want to do that bit for society, but when it comes down to it, it's their job. They're just there for work, and they know that they can get a lot out of it. Mm-hmm. They know that they can get fame, fan clubs. When we think of Hawks in the last 2 episodes, yeah, I know, but just from the way that he came across it in our first few meetings of him, he's just sort of, it's like, I get to chill out and sort of do what I want. So I don't know where it is, but they don't give off the air of heroes, and they don't come across as true heroes because of all this external stuff which is coming in. And I don't know. I just think that when we talk about heroes, it has to be, heroes are a blob.
A blob what?
They're a collective because of their noble qualities. They can't. 90% of the time, a hero will be a collective. That'll be either collective or that'll be unnamed. So when we think of the real world, okay, who are the people considered heroes?
People like police, firefighters,
nurses, doctors, paramedics, those sorts of things. Yeah, they can stick faces on them and stuff. Yes, we know that they're human. We know that they're our family members, they're our friends, and so on and so forth. But when it comes down to it, they're a blob of people who are carrying out a risky job.
Yeah.
Although, to be fair, loads of them do it for the same reasons that the heroes do it.
Yeah.
For money, for respect, and because their family do it.
Because in the Western comics, for example, let's give like Spiderman.
Mm-hmm.
No one knows who he is.
Yeah.
He's literally doing it because he wants to protect people.
Mm-hmm. He suffers for it.
It
messes up his life really bad.
Yeah. He misses his dates. He misses school. He gets injured all the time.
He can't get good jobs.
Yeah, because it's always out there.
Yeah. Or when he's a pizza boy, he's losing the pizza half the time, or delivering them cold or mashed up. So I see what you mean, and maybe that is where it comes down to, that
you can't be a hero if it's an occupation.
Yeah, and that the purest form of heroes, or as close as we get to a pure form of heroes, is that sort of original sort of Western approach to it. Because even within that, it's not quite pure, because you end up with people with their own agendas. So like how we had Batman, who was just sort of angry and striking out at the world in Batman vs Superman, or how we've got people like Redhood, who because of his past and the things that he's experienced throughout his life, because he had a hard childhood right from even before he was a Robin. Because of that, he's just like, all criminals deserve to be beaten to pulps or killed. And I think in his cases, it tends to be killed. So
when he turns to Redhood, but when he was Robin, it was
yeah, but he was still a pretty brutal.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. As Robin, he just went out.
So from this, we get this sort of thing where, even though they're heroes, and like we said, they're heroes sort of in their purest form, they've still got these underlying agendas where for some of them they just like smashing heads in. As in, that's an additional thing for them. Because they're angry and traumatized people suffering from bad PTSD, they just like smashing people's heads in, or they think that they're above the law, or stuff like that. So yeah, I think the heroes in their purest form, and that's what the ones in My Hero Academia lack. But they too cannot achieve that true form of purity, and
because even though you would say, for example, Batman, would you say he has the noble attributes?
No, the reason being that he uses fear to do what he does, and this is the weird thing, and what
this is what I'm saying. He uses fear, the opposite of hope.
Yeah,
which All Might brings.
Yeah. Because All Might, let's face it, he's similar to Superman. The only thing is that All Might comes up in a world where he knows he will become famous in that way.
But you saw when you saw when he was younger, what he wanted to be. He wanted to be a symbol of peace. He's like, I want to be it, so that there's less crime and everything. And he did it, and that's what he did. He done his job.
So then, do you think
what
would be interesting is if they actually gave us some idea of how much money this guy made.
Good point.
I would like to know, did he do brand deals? Did he do stuff like that? Because we never actually hear about that. If we find out that he avoided all of that, that he just took his minimal pay from the government or from whatever agency he was working on or whatever like that, and took nothing else, then I would say, yeah, this guy he's the equivalent to Superman. He is the equivalent to Superman. Because after all, that's what Superman is. He's there and he stands for.
But the thing with Superman.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the thing. All Might and the rest of them,
mm-hmm.
they're more realistic.
In what sense?
However you think of it, Superman is too perfect. And that's why I don't like him as much. He's too perfect.
And
no one's like that.
And this is part of why people disliked Superman in the movie, in the more recent movies. The fact that he was more human.
But I liked him.
He was flawed.
And the thing is,
the one that we've seen in the comics, the ones that we've seen in the animated series, 9 times out of 10, he has pretty much no flaws. The most flaws that he has are the way might be slightly the way that he treats the people around him as Clark Kent. That's the most that we tend to get. With Superman,
Clark Kent was Superman.
Yes and no. Clark Kent was sort of the mask that he wore. It was the other way around for him. Superman wasn't his secret identity. Clark Kent was his secret identity. But here's the problem with Superman. Superman is a law unto himself. The heroes in My Hero Academia obey the law.
Yeah.
They do not break the law. It's their job to uphold it. Whereas Superman thinks he is above the law. Which is why...
The thing with heroes in My Hero Academia, they're given permission to go above the law. In the sense that no one's meant to use their powers. But they are given that permission.
They're not given that permission. The law is built in a way that if you have a license, you can use your powers. Done.
Oh, okay. It's like driving, I guess. It's like driving.
Yeah, it's like driving or police officers in this country using guns. But when it comes to the superheroes of the West, so Superman and all those, they, as far as they're concerned, they're above the law. They do not need to obey it. They're taking the law into their own hands.
Yeah.
And that, in my opinion, is a sort of... That is where things get dodgy. I mean, this is a fundamental human truth, therefore I'm going to do it. I think that this is personally right, so I'm going to do it. So say, for example, it's not fighting for racism and stuff like that. In fact, we rarely ever see Superman doing that. It's literally sometimes, I don't like that they've got this weapon or whatever, so I'm going to go trash it up. Which can sometimes be weird when you consider the world as a whole. It functions in a very specific way. It's much more complicated than that. And I think that was part of the whole thing with Lex Luthor. He was saying, why do you think that you can come and make the rules for us? You're not a god. So either humans make the rules for themselves and abide by those laws, or we stick to our religions, which we've always had, and use those principles to live by. He was coming and basically preaching his own new religion, saying he's a new saviour. Yeah. He was a law unto himself. And the heroes in My Hero Academia are to some degree more heroes because they stick to the law.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
And it's because, as we go back to the thing about as it's an occupation.
Yeah,
like a police officer, a nurse, a doctor, firefighter.
Because you can't really strike off a Western superhero, in Broken a Hero, their licenses can be taken away. They can be and they can be branded no longer a hero, or they can retire. Whereas in Western superheroes, they can't do that. They if other heroes don't agree with them, then either the other heroes have to band together and take them down, or they just get left to their own devices. Okay, so that's it for this podcast. Thanks for tuning in. We're still really interested in hearing your opinion on how a superhero society should work, especially in comparison to My Hero Academia and how that one functions. Could it work? What does it mean to be a hero in such a society? Is it the true meaning of hero? And we'd really like to hear your views on it. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe and listen to our other podcasts on different topics. We've got a really interesting one about power that I think that you'll like. So, that's all for today. Core Narrative signing off.